Hello, this is Heather, and I'm with Ralphie.
Yeah. We're
Are
excited
you
that
regretting this yet?
No, never. We're excited that these intros are more than just me talking to myself and with a little piece of paper telling you guys about the episodes. But for this episode, we're actually super excited because we're going to do a 2-week back-to-back special, and it's all about education.
Mm-hmm.
We have Coach Dex is
Don't put that in there.
If you want to know why the sound, go to our YouTube channel and you'll be able to see why Heather made that sound. Anyway, Coach Dex is coming in, who is at the collegiate level, and he is all about health, wellness, fitness. But we do talk about how those things impact the overall student. So we talk about that. And then next week, stay tuned because we have a collegiate level
registrar,
and we talk a little bit about back to school and
going for colleges and signing up for colleges.
Oh yeah, that's fun. But this week we have Coach Dex, and Coach Dex was super fun to talk to. Really, I was excited because he's a big dude. He's a big old boy. He's very, very strong, very muscular. And so I wanted to sit on the other side of the table. So my ego was, not bruised. But he's a super sweet guy. He and his beautiful family come into Little Lion Cuts. So we got to meet him through that. But there are so many nuggets of wisdom that he brings out through this one. And we're really excited to have him on. So anything you want to say about it?
It was a really good episode. Very good banter.
Yeah, fun.
It
Super
was a fun guy.
So stay tuned and enjoy.
Thank you.
All right, y'all be good.
Y'all be good or be good at it.
3, 2, 1, let's go.
What's up, man? How are you,
dude? How are you?
Good to see you.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Come on in, dude.
Happy to be here. It's gonna be fun.
It's a
Let's
good
talk
time.
about some stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, love it.
Calm it down, man.
I'm
Too
sorry.
much,
Too much juice.
Too much too fast.
I'm Dexter.
Hi, Dexter. I'm Heather. It's nice to meet
Nice to meet you.
Take a seat, man. We switched it up a little bit. We're usually in the big red chairs, but today we're gonna hang out at the table, just in case we needed some adjustments or something. We can move things around, and you could pick us up and carry us like a baby. That'd be nice. Cool, man. Well, thanks for hanging out. I made sure that you were on that side of the table and I was over here, so my ego is okay.
Oh, come on.
I've been.
Gas me up right away. I love it. I appreciate it, man.
Well, thanks for hanging, man. I know you guys came to the shop a couple of times now, or one or two times, and then
twice.
We started talking. We have some sort of connection between your brother and I.
Yeah.
He did theater stuff over at Bradford.
Yeah.
And he's still doing some arts.
Yeah.
He's back in town. He lived in LA for a little while.
He lived in New York for a while. He lived in LA, and now
Cool.
he's back home doing some stuff. So,
Nice.
Yeah, he's killing it, man.
Yeah, Braxton.
Yep.
We're gonna have to get him in
Absolutely.
soon enough.
Oh, he'd
soon
love
enough.
it. He'd love it.
It's
Yeah,
good.
he's killing it, dude. He's doing a lot of things around town, just getting the community
Yeah.
involved.
Well, the little shop thing.
Yeah.
We had Jody and Alan Williams, who are a part of the behind the scenes tech, all things. And they kind of told us about it, and it sounded super awesome.
Yeah, it was
really
big.
cool.
It was a big event. He got the mayor involved in it.
Did he really?
Oh,
Oh man, that's awesome.
yeah. So funny story. He, he started working out with me at Carthage.
Yeah.
My brother did.
Yeah.
And he found out that the mayor's son is one of my athletes. And he goes, hey, you think you can get me in touch with the mayor? I need to get his blessing to close some of the city streets down. And I was like, I barely know him, but sure. Yeah, man,
Let me see.
Yeah, let me see.
what I gotta
Let
do.
me see.
Yeah.
So I reached out to the player and I said, hey, could you ask your dad or could you send me your dad's email? Right, my brother wants to send him something, and Mr. Bogdala or Mayor Bogdala, he sent back such an incredible supportive email to my brother.
That's super sweet.
And saying like, yes, like whatever you need, absolutely. Because he was involved heavily in theater arts way back in the day.
Was he really?
Yeah, which we didn't know.
All right.
So that was a really cool, very cool, like in terms of the common ground that they
Very
had.
cool.
And then fast forward, a month or two goes by, and my brother's working out with me, and he goes, hey, we're just having small talk, and he goes, I gotta run downtown. The mayor, I gotta get him fitted for a suit.
Cool.
And I'm thinking, well, dude, I'm sure the mayor knows where to get fitted for a suit. Like, why is he asking you? He goes, oh, dude, he's actually in the show. And I just started laughing. I'm like, there's no way. Like, you're reaching out to me to ask me for his number, and all of a sudden now he's in your show.
He's in it.
And now you're best friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right
Very
now
cool.
you're best friends. And sure enough, I'm working security one night at the show, and the mayor's down there in his 3-piece suit. Man, he comes in with his motorcade, and it was so cool, man. And the mayor just had nothing but great things to say about the whole production and everything.
Awesome.
So awesome.
For those of you who don't know, listeners, we have some listeners from around actually the U.S. and overseas. There's a theater production company basically here in Kenosha that your brother is a big part of, if not like the part, one in charge.
Yeah, one of them. Yep.
And they shut down an entire part of downtown to do a theater production of Little Shop of Horrors on the street, utilizing the Equinox. Is it the Equinox? Yeah, a storefront there. That's beautiful. Yeah. It was amazing to see. Yeah, that's awesome.
It was such a cool turnout from the community.
I wanted to go, but I was out of town.
Oh, no.
So I saw the pictures. I was like, damn it.
It also sold out so fast. Yeah, for sure.
It was such a cool event because, I've always gone to his stuff and supported him as much as I could. And he's always done some very unique things, but this by far was probably one of the most unique ones, right? Like closing down city streets, and doing it in public. Like people are walking by, and it's downtown, right? In downtown, they've done a lot of great things here in Kenosha. So, it's very live, right? And people are walking by and they're like, what the heck is this? So it was a really good platform to get quote unquote free publicity too from the community to boost up the arts. And, he's such a big pioneer and advocate for that. And he's bringing such a unique twist from doing it,
I love it.
in New York, in LA, and rubbing shoulders with a lot of people that have done it on the big screen. And now he's sort of taking that and scaling it down here. It's very cool. We're very proud of him.
That's great, man.
Yeah.
Are you older or younger?
Yeah,
I'm younger.
You're younger?
I'm younger, yeah.
He's the older one?
He's the older one. Yeah, about 5.5 years.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And you
Yeah, a
both
little
grew
bit of
up
a
here in
gap.
Kenosha?
We did, yeah.
Nice.
I went to Tremper, he went to Bradford, and he was, we're the opposite ends of spectrum in terms of just like who we are, but there's a lot of similarities, right? I was a sports guy, the jock guy. He was the theater guy, the musician, right? But yeah, so.
That's awesome, man. That's like my brother and I. My brother and I are 7 years apart, and he was he's doing all the stuff. He's doing football. He played football for Bradford. Okay. This was like 99. He graduated in 99 or 2000, something like that. But and then I did the theater and music and all that good stuff. But very cool, man. Well, let's talk a little bit about you.
Well, let's do it. What do you want to know? I'm an open book.
Wait, you were in Texas for a little while?
I was.
What was that? What was that for?
So I was the associate director of football performance at University of Texas San Antonio. So the Roadrunners, it was crazy, kind of how it happened. Yeah, I'm born and raised Kenosha. Went to Carthage. I bounced around from a lot of schools. Yeah, but landed at Carthage. Got my undergraduate degree in athletic training. Got a master's there, and then I was working as, you could say, their glorified quote unquote director of strength and conditioning. Sure. And really, they were just like, hey, we need some help in this area. Do you want to do this to kind of fill your resume? And I'm like, yeah, sure, absolutely. Awesome. And at the time, I was applying for every single job in Division I because I knew that's where I wanted to go. Okay. I had an undergrad on the health side, the medical side of it, but my passion was the performance side of it. Cool. Right. And I think I applied for one day, it was like 30 jobs and all over the country. And few weeks go by, I get a phone call from UTSA, and they say, you know, hey, this is Coach Doria at UTSA. Is this Dexter? We're calling about your application. And I literally had to put the phone on speaker and Google UTSA because I didn't remember. Right? I just remember I applied for a ton of jobs that I was qualified for, just hoping somebody would call.
And of course, on the phone, you're like, you're my first pick,
man.
I
was like, UTSA. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I was like, who the heck is UTSA?
That's awesome.
And then, you know, fast forward a little bit, I go down there, get offered the job, and it was kind of a no-brainer for me because there was really no future at Carthage at that point for that position. And I was in a fairly serious relationship at the time, who's now my wife.
Awesome.
And I told her, I said, look, if I'm going to make this work in my career, like the life of a strength and conditioning coach, you have to be mobile.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's very volatile and lucrative, and, you know, that's just the way of the world. And she's like, okay. And I went down there. I absolutely fell in love with it. I mean, it was everything that I was looking for and craving in terms of, you know, the individuals that I would be mentored by, the facilities, the atmosphere, the high premium they place on
and
performance.
It's Texas, bro.
And it's Texas, right? You can't go wrong with that.
Texas football,
it barely
baby.
snows. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, and the guy that was the director at the time, he still is, but Ryan Philo, he's UW lacrosse graduate.
Oh,
he's a Wisconsin guy.
Wow.
He trained he was an intern and he worked for Tommy Moffitt at LSU for about 7 or 8 years. And Tommy Moffitt is one of the biggest names in strength and conditioning ever.
Cool.
Like he's up there with the Boyd Epleys of the world, you know, the big names. That so I was like, man, if I can learn from this guy, you know, sky could be the limit for me.
Yeah.
So, you know, I go down there, take the job, and I was working as the head strength coach for women's basketball, women's soccer, and I was assisting with football. And it was fairly quickly that they're like, hey, we just want you for football. So, so I was like, okay, sounds good. Some things transitioned and kind of moved up the ranks and became the associate director. And I tell you what, I got very, very fortunate and very lucky because I came in with the new coaching regime, the head coach, who was Jeff Traylor. And if you know anything about Texas high school football or Texas football in general, Jeff Traylor is up there.
Okay.
He is the cream of the crop. He's one of the best coaches ever to come out of Texas and to coach in Texas high school football. Yeah. So I got very fortunate, and I, you know, moved in and worked with that staff, and we've had a lot of success during my time there.
Cool.
And it was all attributed to Coach Traylor and the culture that he brought there. And it truly molded me as a man, the man that I am today.
Sure.
Right. Because before then, you know, it's not that I didn't work hard and I didn't, you know, really have a lot of ambition. I just, it was
direction.
Exactly. Direction, guidance, and a solid understanding of what it took on a consistent basis to be as good as you need to be a champion.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I had him as a mentor, Ryan Philo as a mentor, and some of those other guys on the staff. And, you know, we had a lot of great times. We had a lot of turmoil, a lot of difficulty too. And I tell you what, looking back on it, I had some of the darkest times there, you know, in my personal life and my professional life. It was eye-opening, you know, and I can remember a specific time I was in a hotel with my parents. We were on a road game and they came to watch, and we were 11-0. We were a top 25 team in the country. We were playing for the Conference USA championship game. Yeah. And I told my parents, I said, I'm miserable.
Sure.
You know, I said, this is the worst.
Yeah.
You know, this is the worst.
Yeah.
You know, and I won't get into the specifics, but there were a lot of things internally on our strength staff that we were dealing with.
Sure.
Right. And a lot of things just kind of bled down to me. And it was just like, man, I don't know how to manage this anymore. And in a sense, I was stuck because I couldn't leave. I didn't want to leave because we were having so much success. And
Man, in a time where you should be like just
elated,
enjoying this time. Yeah, for sure.
It was miserable. Yeah. It was miserable for me. And then, you know, some things kind of stayed about the same. We won the championship. The next year, we won the championship again. Wow. And I'm just like, man, I don't know, you know. And then my wife, we find out we were pregnant, and I was like, you know what, we got to get closer to home.
Sure.
You know, and it was applying for jobs. And fast forward, I was going to take a job in Michigan at a Division II program. There was a director position there. And I said, great, it's 3 hours away from home and no more than, I think it was 48 hours before I flew out there. that Carthage called and they said, hey, we have a full-time position here. Do you want to come home?
Yeah.
Help us out with strength and conditioning and rehab, and here's what it is. And I said, well, give me the job description, give me the benefits, the salary, all that stuff. And they're like, well, you tell us what could get you home. And I'm like, no way, right? I was like, this is a little too good to be true, right? And it was as true as they said it was. And so here we are. It's just, it was divine intervention how it worked out.
It's beautiful.
So now we get to raise our beautiful boy around his grandparents and his cousins and uncles and aunts, and it's been incredible.
You're gonna bring me to tears, bro.
Yeah,
no, that's beautiful.
It was awesome. It was awesome, but it was God playing a role in our lives, man. That at the time we didn't see it like that, and then we look at it like where this could have gone, where this was going, and where it ended up going. Yeah. Right. Like the old saying goes, we make plans and God laughs.
Sure.
It's like. I mean, I tell my wife all the time, I said, can you believe, like, we're home where I'm doing what I love to do, and really there's no other opportunity for what I do in Kenosha other than Carthage. Right? Sure. I mean, there's Parkside, right? Yeah. But really, other than Carthage and Parkside, and it's like there's only 2 jobs.
Or you scale down and go to high school or something.
Right. Yeah. And it was just so unique. And and another thing too, which is kind of crazy, is she worked for a very good company. She's worked for a lot of good companies. She's super smart. She's the exact opposite of me. She's just a great person. She worked for Educators Credit Union. She's an accountant. So she worked for Educators Credit Union for many years. She worked for Abbott for a few years, worked for SC Johnson, and then she got a remote job working for a subsidiary of SC Johnson, which is called Method Products. And she was on a complete remote basis for the time that she was living down in Texas with me. Well, a month, not even, a few weeks before her job ended and she would have been out of a job.
Sure.
They told her, they said, hey, we're going to take your position. It's going to be brick and mortar, but it's going to go out to California. So she would have been unemployed. And at the time we had, twins on the way. Yeah. And we're like, oh my God, like I didn't make anywhere near enough to be able to support that. Right. Sure. And we're, 1,300 miles away from family and in a job that I'm struggling with, right? Yeah. And she goes, well, you know what? If we're gonna go back home, let me just reach out to Method or SC Johnson again and ask them if they would consider moving my job back to their Racine headquarters.
Oh, sure.
There's only 2. It's in California or Racine. Sure. So she reached out. A couple days go by. They said, yeah, Shannon, no problem. Welcome back. And I was just like, we went from having one job in Texas that not being able to make ends meet to both of our dream jobs back home in our home city. Yeah. So again, when we talk about all of the other factors that came into play, it was just like, this is God's doing. We have to go home. Sure. We have to go home. So it was incredible.
How long have you been out here now?
Back home? It'll be 2 years in August.
Oh, nice.
2 years in August, yeah. So I did 4 years total down in Texas. My wife did a little over 2 because we did a distance for a year and a half, almost 2 years.
She's from here too?
She's from here.
Oh, very cool.
It's funny because we met when I was in college. I was I was a grad assistant in college. Maybe a first-year grad assistant, and we started hanging out. And then she invited me to her house, or I invited her to my house, or something like that. Right? Yeah. She goes, "Do you know I live right around the corner right here?" Sure. I was like, "No." She goes, "Yeah." So she shows me. I was like, "I pass your house every day." Yeah. My entire life, never even knew it. Right, and here we are.
Dude.
Now we're married. So
fairy tale, crazy. Bro.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
All right, that's it. You can leave.
Yeah,
now.
good. All right, we're done.
Your life is too okay for this right now.
We've been very fortunate, man. Very fortunate.
I love that.
Yeah.
What do you do at Carthage?
I'm the director of strength and conditioning and rehabilitation.
Okay.
So it's pretty unique. I actually work. I'm contracted out at Carthage, but I work for Doctors of Physical Therapy. So we have a partnership who, by the way, I'm going to plug DPT because they're absolutely fantastic. You have injuries, you have anything you need physical therapy wise, they are the place to be.
Where are they?
They're everywhere, man. They're everywhere. It's like every month they're opening up another clinic. They're
Wow,
in
okay.
Wisconsin, Minnesota, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan.
Okay.
We're everywhere,
Yeah.
right? And the guy that owns it, Aaron Cry, who actually is a St. Joe's grad.
Very
So,
cool,
yeah,
man.
right? Very awesome.
Yeah.
So anyway, Carthage teamed up with Doctors of Physical Therapy, and there was a guy who was my mentor. His name's Lemoyne Hawley. And for anybody that knows anything about sports performance or physical therapy from a sports side standpoint, Lemoyne Hawley is like the guy in this community. Oh
Nice.
yeah, everybody knows him. He's just incredible at what he does. He trained me when I was younger, brought me through my rehab. So if I ever get hurt or what, I'm going to him, right? Like he's the guy. And he came out of retirement because DPT recruited him and said, hey, we want you to run our physical therapy and our performance team out at Carthage because we're partnering up with them.
Sure.
Because we provide physical therapy to our student athletes at Carthage. And they said, to Lemoyne, they're like, what do you need in order to make that team, to assemble that team? He goes, well, I need another physical therapist, Stephen Paul. And he goes, I need Dexter Molinaro. That's who we need. And we're going to make it happen because my role is a little unique. I have to have the clinical side of it. I have to have that education, but also the strength and conditioning,
Sure.
which I do. So it very much is a niche position. And so, yeah, I handle all of the physical therapy scheduling, and I do some rehab for their athletic training staff in there, and I help out with some event coverage here and there. And then I also run the strength and conditioning staff, which is very, very fun for me.
I've gone through your socials, man. I checked out your Insta, and you're a monster, man. Man. For sure.
Yeah.
How tall are you?
About 6'3",
And
a little over, maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
31. I'll be
31?
32 in August.
Nice, man.
I know, feeling old.
How does the 30s feel? At least with you and your mindset of, because when I reached out, we wanted to talk a little bit about health and wellness, being wealth, right?
Right.
I was talking to someone. We have some awesome clients that come through.
Yeah.
I'm talking to Dan. He works for the Bears organization, and super sweet guy. They are very holistic in the way they live and kind of raise their kids in the same vein. But we're talking, and he was mentioning, he talked to one of the guys, retired now, but one of the main Bears kind of strength and conditioning guys, and he gave me this little bit of knowledge. He said that guy, I can't remember who it was. You would probably know him. That guy said, it's like putting money away for your retirement, right? Every time you're in the gym in your early days, that's just putting a little bit of savings into a retirement fund so that when you get to 60, 65, even in your 50s, your body is taking a little bit of that you saved up so that you can kind of continue. So now it being in your 30s, which young buck, man.
Yeah.
But what does that look like now? What does that feel like?
Oh man, I tell you what. So yesterday, I have aches and pains just like everybody else. I woke up, I told my wife, I said, my shoulder hurts, my knee is killing me. I don't know what I have going on with my forearm. She's like, you're just a mess. I said, I don't know what I did.
Yeah.
I cleaned my office yesterday. Right? Like I don't know what I did.
Sure.
So you're always going to have those things, right? And what you said, I love it. And I got this from Coach Traylor, and I got just about every single one of my little
isms.
Isms. Sure. We call them Coach Jeff isms. That's what he called them. From him. And it's deposits versus withdrawals. As many deposits as you can make without withdrawals. At the end of it, obviously, you're going to be in the black. You're going to be good.
Yeah.
And I think now more than ever, that's so important with just health and well-being. Yeah. Right. From a holistic approach. And I'm the same way too. And don't get me wrong, I have my vices. I'm not perfect. Sure. Right. Like we all have something. Yeah. But I look at it like this. If you can just make one good decision today that you didn't make yesterday, you're going to be fine. Yeah. Right. And I think it's really important for people to just have routine and have things that, sort of keep them on track. and it's sort of like their North Star.
Yeah.
Like you can always veer off that path a little bit, but if you know, hey, this is where I typically have to be, you can always go back to it.
Sure.
But if you're just taking a shotgun approach on a daily basis with your nutrition, with your fitness, with your spiritual health and wellness, right? It's so hard to identify who you are and what you're about.
Okay.
Right.
Sure.
So again, I think it's finding what's right for you, what works with your schedule, what do you enjoy doing from a fitness standpoint, and do that. And there's a million and one different ways on how you can progress that and make that more intense. You don't have to go in the gym for 10 hours a week and lift weights and sweat and put your body at risk. It could be as simple as, hey, I'm going to go walk around the lake.
Yeah.
2 times. Okay. It takes me 40 minutes to do it. Great. Next week, try and do it in 35.
Dude, so many people underestimate the power of just walking.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
It's incredible. And, and once that becomes a little bit easier, just buy a $10 or a $20 weighted vest.
Oh, sure.
Do it with a weighted vest, right? Put some books in a book bag and do it. And now just throw in a couple air squats while you're doing it, right? And you just progressively build that intensity until you have the confidence, have the stability and the control to do those things. It just, over time, like you said, it's just those deposits, right? That really matter.
I know so many people who do go to the gym and they just go full force.
Yeah.
They end up hurting
The
themselves.
weekend warriors.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they used to work out.
Right.
They had something happen, life took over, they had to do something else. They didn't go to the gym for a while, and then they go back and they're like, I'm going to go do the exact same thing I did before. And it's like, no, you got to build it back up.
You got to build it.
And it's also not realistic to see yourself go from 0 to 50 anyway, because it's not, you can't keep that going.
Right.
People who do the New Year's resolutions,
Sure.
and they're like, I'm gonna go to the gym every day.
Yeah.
And then
By February 1,
they're gone.
done.
Yeah. And they're just letting that. They're just letting the paycheck or what is it? They're just paying for it monthly, not going.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's the worst part,
But
man.
that's why the gyms do it. Hey, $1 to sign up January 1.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then they lock you in, and then you forget about it.
You forget that it turns into $30 after that the next month, and
Yeah. But to your point though, too, that's why I think it's so important. Like you just have to understand, like, all right, what are my non-negotiables? And for me, I never really had that. And then once we found out, hey, we're going to be a family, I told my wife, I said, hey, what are going to be like, how are we going to identify our family culture?
Sure.
Right? I had this culture that was instilled at me at UTSA, and the culture pillars that Coach Traylor, preached all the time. And to a point, I was just so sick of hearing it. And I would kind of like roll my eyes, and I was like, you know what, let me actually try and live this.
Sure.
And it truly changed the way I was
Yeah.
for the better, right? I still have my issues, but it really kind of gave me some guidance.
what do you got in there in a nutshell? Spiritual health.
Oh,
like
man,
what are we
I'll
feeling?
give them to you in order. So the first one's integrity.
Okay.
So I'll just roll through them real quick. So it's integrity, passion, mental, physical toughness, selfless, and perfect effort. Okay. So for all those things, what we try and do, just no matter what we're doing in our daily lives, whether it's sport, whether it's marriage, relationships, doesn't matter. We try and take those things and we apply them to what we're doing.
Sure.
Right. And the integrity piece is just who you are when nobody's watching. Passion, you just have to have an uncontrollable emotion about something in your life, whether it's music, whether it's working with children, whether it's fitness, it doesn't matter what it is, you be passionate about it. What gets you out of bed in the morning? What makes you enthusiastic to start your day, right? The mental and the physical toughness piece. Mental toughness is doing something that you don't want to do, but doing it like you love it.
Sure.
Right? And Mike Tyson kind of used that as a definition of discipline. And I'm like, man, that's mental toughness right there, right?
Yeah.
And downstream from that is the physical toughness. If you know you don't want to go to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go to the gym, I don't want to do these push-ups, I don't want to go run, I don't want to eat this salad, I'd rather eat this. If you do those things, right, that physical toughness piece is going to come along with it, right? And you're just going to keep stacking days, and stacking that confidence. And sooner or later you have momentum, right? And that momentum is going to turn into discipline.
Yeah.
And then the next one is selflessness. Just think of other people, put other people first, do right by other people, right? Like there's times where my wife says, hey, I want to go do this. And I think, well, man, I'd rather go play golf.
Sure.
Right. I'd rather go, do this or do that. But it's like, no, it's not about me. It's for them. Right. So putting others first. And the last one is perfect effort. And that takes, zero capital. It takes zero talent. It doesn't matter what type of physical shape you're in. Just give effort in what you're doing. And those are our culture pillars that we have as a strength and conditioning staff as well, right? Which we trying to preach to our students our student athletes on a daily basis. So those things for me, it was like, man, that's a home run, right? Those are so important. I forgot what your question was though.
No, that was it.
That was
No,
it.
that was
That
it.
was it.
Right,
Like,
good.
what are those pillars? What is that in a nutshell?
Well, how does it apply to your family? Do you tell, like, how old are your children?
My son is 20 months. So yeah, he's like, man, he's a beast. He's running around everywhere. He's starting to put words together, and so we have to watch our mouths around him.
Yeah.
But we just have the one boy right now, so we're thinking about another one, and maybe 3, 4, 5. Who knows?
Make your own team.
Yeah. I need at least 5, right? I need a starting 5. Yeah. So
It's better than I, man. I was good at 2. Third one snuck up on us, and that's about it.
yeah,
That's about where we
after
cap
that,
it,
right?
man.
Yeah. It seems like it's like the rule of 3s now with everybody in our circle.
Sure.
I mean, I can't tell you how many coaches I know, like at Carthage, like, yeah, we're on our third. One of my good friends, Tony Pastina, he's the head of the exercise sports science department. He's got 4 that are under the age of 6. And I'm just like, so whenever I see him come into the facility with his little ducklings walking behind him, I'm just like, oh man, so it's absolute chaos. We try and manage 1, and I can't imagine managing 4. So
I was gonna ask, when we went through the pillars, you're on a daily basis, you're dealing with kiddos, right?
Yeah.
Like they're in their late teens, early 20s.
18 to 22-year-olds.
How are they navigating those pillars?
Dude,
Because
such a good question.
It's I know now at 38, like, man, I'd throw a teenager through a wall right now. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So how are you navigating that? Which you physically could throw these kids through a wall.
Yeah, absolutely. Whiskey helps.
Sure, absolutely.
No, man, my passion is strength and conditioning. My purpose is to serve others, right? And I've just found out a way to get paid for it, which I'm so fortunate. So, I truly enjoy it. And just because I've seen the change in my life firsthand by not just it's not about getting bigger, faster, stronger. It's about becoming a better human being. And that's going to bleed over to no matter what you do in your life. And for me, that's the root, right? You have to build that root in terms of your character and who you are as a person, and then you'll enjoy the fruit later on in life.
For sure.
Right? So again, it's chipping away and winning the day every single day and embodying those things on a daily basis and being consistent with those things. And then these kids start to see the payoff, right? Yeah. So I'll tell you what, it's absolutely exhausting. It's exhausting, right? And because, I tell myself and I tell my staff this, we have to be the most consistent ones in the room.
I was going to say, you have to model that first.
To, right?
Yeah,
for sure.
To.
Because, I've heard things, from other people saying, hey, don't do what do as I say, not as I do. Right. Sure. And I'm just like, yeah, okay, that works for maybe a little kid. But eventually it's like, well, that's just hypocritical.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
You have to truly live it. Yeah. And, it's something that I struggle with on a daily basis. Yeah. There are times that I just want to say, hey, I'm going to skip the gym and I'm going to just sit my ass
veg
on the couch.
out, man.
Yeah. Like, I don't want to do it. Well, what happens when my athlete comes to me and say, coach, I just didn't want to do that workout. And what do I say? Hey, you got to be mentally tough. Well, I better embody that too.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Right. So it's one of those things where it's a challenge, but it's a challenge that I love.
Yeah.
Right. And it's
good.
just, I think Joe Rogan said it, and can I cuss on here or no?
Sure.
Very minimal. Okay. He says, how do I just not be a piece of shit today?
Yeah.
I was just like, that's a really blunt way of saying it. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, if you get down to it, how do I just be better today?
Yeah.
And, with these kids, they come in and they come from all walks of life. Right. And this is where the relationship building is so pinnacle to the success that we have with them as coaches and as mentors. You have to know what gets to this person versus that person versus that person, because how I reach you, Heather, as an athlete is not how I'm going to reach you. Right. Yeah. So again, having that having that, good level of dialogue and understanding as to how that person operates and how that person thinks really determines what I'm going to get out of them that day. And also too, what are they going to respond to in terms of my messaging?
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So really, I use that weight room as a vessel to build better human beings first and foremost, not better athletes.
Sure.
And I think that's where, a lot of coaches kind of miss the boat. Sure. And they gauge their value on the social scoreboard of wins and losses. And don't get me wrong, at the end of the day,
it matters.
It matters. That's important.
But it's
right?
not the end goal. Sure.
Exactly. Right.
Well, and if everyone's miserable while doing it and not enjoying who they're with and hating the people that are in charge of them,
right.
then you're not really winning.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You're going to win on the scoreboard, maybe.
Sure.
But at the end of it, you want to give these kids a great experience. And I think what we do at Carthage as a whole is we have a bunch of coaches that believe in that, especially from an administration and a higher up standpoint.
Awesome.
I mean, it trickles down, and we have incredible leadership. And Ryan Kane is a guy you got to get on this podcast.
All right.
I know him.
Do you?
Yeah.
How do you know Ryan?
I hung out with his wife a couple times, and I sat at we were at Lake Andrea at the beer garden one night.
Yeah.
And I told him I was 53.
You told him you were 53? You're not 53.
Am I?
No way.
No, I'm not.
I don't want to get, yeah, okay. I was like, there's no way. Like, I'll end it there. Absolutely not. No. Okay. Yeah. No,
we'll have to get him
Ryan
on.
He's the man.
And what does he do there?
He's the director of athletics there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So here's what's unique about Ryan, and I'll just give you this quick little fact on him. I've worked for a lot of ADs, and there's been a lot of AD turnover at Carthage over the past, few years. When you talk about that, first of all, that's like being the president. Like, you're not going to win.
Sure.
Right? Like, you're signing up to deal with issues, put out fires, and to be hated, and sometimes be loved. And he does a tremendous job in terms of how he leads the athletics department. And, he's been so incredibly supportive of strength and conditioning and the holistic development of our athletes. He was a coach himself, which I think is very rare for an AD to say, yeah, I was a college coach. I understand the struggles that you coaches go through. And here's how, here's the type of support that I needed when I was a coach. Now I'm in that position where I can offer you that support and I can listen from a, I guess you could say, for lack of a better term, like a bias standpoint.
Yeah,
right?
Of course.
Like I can.
Like he knows what it takes.
He understands exactly.
Sure.
He's just an awesome human being, and you're starting to see that, with the coaching hires that he's made, the culture change that he's made. Yeah. So Carthage is a very, very exciting place to be right now.
That's awesome, man.
I know a baseball player who wants to go there.
Let's go. Tell them to hurry up because we're filling up.
We
actually have a waiting list right now for enrollment, which
is
pretty incredible. Yeah, I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe our enrollment is higher than Parkside's.
Okay,
which is pretty crazy because Parkside's a public school.
It is a public school,
right? Yeah. So it's.
I think, the kid I'm thinking of, he's got a couple years, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good. We'll hold him a bed.
Yeah. I'll let him know. I'll see him.
Yeah, just give me his name. We'll put him on.
No, that's great though. I feel a lot of that, especially when I don't know, maybe we messaged a little bit about that work culture or what we've kind of established within here, and we feel that too. We've said it a few times now. It really does trickle down from the top, right?
Yes.
Like if I'm always in a frenzy, if Heather's always in a frenzy, if we're in this, that's going to trickle down to the girls. That's going to trickle down to the people at the shop. Yep. Everyone's going to feel that. Yeah. We kind of get into that when we're dealing with a kiddo, right? Heather is huge on saying that. Like, the kiddos are like dogs, right? They can smell your fear. They're going to smell that energy. Yep. And if you're freaking out about it and jumping into a haircut, then it's over. And so it really is cultivating that
security and the trust.
Yeah.
Well, I think culture is a byproduct of environment.
Of the environment.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I tell you what, just speaking from, a client walking in here, I mean, it was, from Liam's first haircut, we didn't know what to expect. I'm like, oh, he's going to freak out. He's going to hate it coming in. Yeah, we had some kids, just kind of figuring their things out. But the staff, I mean, you guys were incredible. I mean, it was such a calmness and such a, like, hey, we got it. Don't worry about it, you know? And there were so many different things that, like, you guys have this figured out, which I think is so important.
Trying, man.
Yeah, you do, man. You do. And, and then the second time we came in, you were in here. I didn't even know you were the owner, right? And then I'm like, who is this guy just talking like this out loud, It was pretty crazy.
I probably said some off the wall stuff.
I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but I was just like, oh, this is
Was
kind
it
of
the
unique,
you need
but-
more brown friends?
Yeah, I didn't call you guys racist.
Maybe, did I? You know what? I think that was it. But but it was fun. It was very lighthearted.
Yeah.
It was very. I was
Yeah.
sort of taken back because I'm big on culture. And,
Sure.
every book that I have in my office is pretty much a leadership book.
Yeah, of course.
And I've tried to do the best I can to lead. I make mistakes every single day. My staff will tell you firsthand. But I try and learn, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I always try and pick up on. And
Sure.
it was very cool coming in and seeing. I was like, okay,
That's awesome,
you guys
man.
have a very good relationship, and it's a lighthearted environment, but still the quality of work is very high.
Yeah.
So, and that just speaks volumes of your ability to manage and lead, and everybody to trust your vision and buy into what you're giving.
I gotta give all the credit over to Heather over here.
It takes a team, man. It takes a team.
No, it really does. I was gonna say there's some correlation between what you were talking about with younger athletes, and I think there is also there's a sense of ego that comes into it, right? Well, of course, there's a sense of ego because you think of like a younger athlete, you think they're at their prime in physical fitness. Right. They're at their prime in like age, right? Those are early 20s. You're invincible, and talent, I'm sure, is through the roof. Someone told me a long time ago. Well,
Sometimes.
Sure, sometimes.
Right. No, we got some talent.
Someone told me a long time ago. They sat me down because in that same vein, I went to college in Texas to do music and some other stuff. So I was always pretty good at what I did.
Right.
Leading music in a church environment, leading worship, quote unquote. Right. That was my life for a decade. Yeah. And so I did it at a high level. I've always kind of excelled in that. But someone sat me down once and they said, Ralph, what did they say? They said, your talent will take you to the mountaintop, but it's your character and your integrity that's going to keep you there. And that always resounded with me. And so now in everything that I do, and I'm hoping that I'm kind of instilling that in my kiddos as well. Like, sure, you're going to be great. You're going to do things that are seen as awesome. But it really is your character, your integrity, that's going to say way more about you than what you can do on stage or on a field. And so that's huge, man. And just hearing you talk about how you guys are leading those kiddos and how you guys are, I say kiddos because anybody under 38 is definitely younger. And how you guys are in there at the helm. Dude, it's beautiful, man. I'm glad they have you. I'm glad that you guys are there kind of instilling this new culture in them. Well, the culture that you guys have there.
You've even said you've got people from all walks of life. You've got some kids who have been taking care of themselves since day one.
Right.
And now they find themselves in a position in a school where they might have more rules than they're used to.
Right.
Or they have to deal with more people than they're used to.
Right.
And now they have to follow all these other, like they might have been doing football in high school.
Sure.
But now they're coming to college, and not only do they have to do their own thing, they have to keep up with their grades, and no one's going to remind them.
Right.
And then they have to do all the things that you guys expect of them.
Right.
And they might have been coming from big fish, little pond, and now they're jumping into this where they might have to compete against themselves a little bit more.
Yes.
And then they don't really understand that at that age, like, I'm competing against myself, not them.
Yes.
We're a team, but I'm trying to make myself better every day.
Exactly. And, there's so many good points. So, Ralph, like you're saying, the ego thing, I think ego is great. I think everybody needs an ego.
Sure.
But when it becomes how you identify yourself,
Yeah.
it's detrimental, right? I think you need the ego. You need to have an edge to you, but you also need to know how to tame that edge, and you need to know how to control that edge and apply it when it's productive.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's really important, and that's where the shaping of the character comes in, and just understanding, like, maybe you are the most talented, let's say, basketball player.
Sure.
You're the most talented basketball player on our team, but you're showing up to weights late.
Yeah.
Right. You're giving barely 100% effort at practice. Once, so taking that individual and sort of making them understand the importance of the mundane stuff that maybe they don't necessarily understand is going to make them a better athlete, better human being.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's really tough to do. So, and Heather, to go back to your point, like, yes, we have kids from the Silver Spoon kids, never really had to work for anything, always been very, very talented. They're on the team. And then we have a kid where had to bust their butts to where they are. Maybe they're not the most talented, but they're definitely the most disciplined and they work the hardest. So it's like a big part of our job, which I think a lot of people don't understand, is we spend the most time with these kids out of any of their sport coaches, out of any support staff, out of any professor.
Sure.
We're with them almost on a daily basis, working with them, right? So a big part of what we do is trying to get everybody to pull on the same rope and understand that, the wins happen in the margins and doing the little things right. And when you have a kid that, is coming in 18, sometimes even 17 years old, and now they have to, like you said, manage a class load, manage practice, manage weights, manage all their recovery. Now you add on doing your homework, going to study tables,
girls,
boys, whatever the case may be, right? Your social group, figuring out what you're going to eat 3 times a day, doing your laundry, how to, do I wash it on hot or cold, right? So there's so many different, stressors, external stressors that come into play, and I tried to do the best I can of building a relationship with these kids where it's like, hey, if it doesn't have to be the weight room. If you're struggling with something, come sit in my office. Let's talk about it, right? I've had a lot of different experiences, and if there's ever a time where I can say, hey, this is how I navigated this situation, or I went through a very similar situation with this. I mean, there's countless times where I've had athletes come in and they're dealing with a very specific problem, very unique problem, or so they think, and I say, yeah,
been there.
You're having a problem with addiction. I had the same problem, my man. Let's talk about that, right? So, it's just it's very rewarding when you have an athlete that feels very comfortable with you to come in and talk to you, and if I can offer just a little bit of advice, just a little bit of guidance to help them maybe get through just another day, another week, another year, whatever the case may be, that to me that's the payoff. That's what coaching is, right? It's guiding an individual to a destination. Right. It's not forcing them to go one way or the other. It's just helping them make good decisions, along the way. And it's all encompassing. It's not just, hey, I need to put 50 pounds in your back squat and add 5 pounds of muscle. That's a byproduct of all the other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Well, I know someone who was in school on a scholarship for basketball, and I don't know what she hurt. She hurt something in her leg and she couldn't play anymore. Yeah. And then she lost her scholarship and lost all the stuff. And it was like heartbreaking. Yeah. And she was talking about how the mental load, like you have a physical therapist who can also be someone who treats you mentally too, because that is a huge, like, it's a scary moment. Like I had sciatica issues, and I remember laying on the couch being like, I might not be able to work. Yeah. And this is my livelihood. This is my job. This is what I love to do. And it freaked me out, but I'm old, so I can find other things to do. Right. And then they're just beginning their lives and their whole life. Some of them that this has been on their shoulders their whole life. Like this is what you're going to do. Exactly. We're going to play basketball. We're going to do whatever. We're going to play the sport. Right.
It's a lot of like how they identify themselves. Right. Like for me growing up, I was the basketball guy. Sure. Right. I wasn't great. I think I was good. Right. But I wasn't great by any means, but I always like that was me. I was the basketball guy. And I had a very similar, thing happen to me. I hurt my knee my senior year. And it was season ending. All of my recruitment dropped off. All my confidence dropped off. It just, it kind of shattered me, and I didn't have anything to fall back on that true identity, because my identity or how I identified was sort of stripped from me, right? Because I was like, I was a basketball guy. Now, if I'm not the basketball guy, what am I? Right? Yeah. So it was a struggle for me. And my athletic trainer at the time, Jeff Walters, I'll never forget him. He did my rehab for a little bit, and that's where I fell in love with the performance side of things and the medical side of things. That's why I went and became an athletic trainer. It's because all of the mental, just the mental quote unquote therapy that he brought me through. I was just like, man, this. I never knew you did this, Jeff.
Sure.
Right. I never knew this was a part of your deal. And it was so incredible. Right. So incredible. So, I wanted to be there for those athletes, because he was there for me. And I think our athletic training staff, our physical therapy staff at DPT, they do such an unbelievable job of putting that as the highest priority on the list.
That's great.
It's like, yeah, we're going to work with your knee, but how are you feeling mentally today? What's your emotional state looking like?
Yeah.
Hey, Dex, I'm really struggling. Lemoyne, I'm really struggling with this. Like,
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, let's just talk today.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that, because again, how you perceive your reality,
Of course,
it becomes your reality.
Yeah.
Bro, if people think that their mental strain isn't putting a strain on their body, they're incredibly wrong.
Incredibly wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
Incredibly wrong.
Well, and it's also like their inner relationships, professional, with the sports, with their teachers, with everything. Like, I know from my own experience, like, my mental health wasn't that good, so I didn't have a good relationship with anybody.
Sure.
And then I've been in a relationship where someone's mental health was questionable.
Yeah.
And it's just like they don't see it. Or that old added, that feeling like, oh, if I go to a therapist or if I talk to somebody, then there's something wrong with me.
Right.
It's like there's nothing wrong with you. Everybody needs someone to talk to.
Oh, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody, right? And if we can be that person for that individual that they feel comfortable talking, let's do it, right? And I think we, our head athletic trainer, Jake Denauer at Carthage, good friend of mine. He's been there for, I think, 20 years. He does such a great job of pushing the staff to take mental health workshops, and let's work through what happens if a student athlete has a season-ending injury, and how do we go about navigating the psychological quote unquote warfare that individual is going through, and what are some things that we should say, shouldn't say, right? And how do we navigate them through that process? And, speaking firsthand from, seeing these athletes, oftentimes I see them, if they got hurt yesterday, I'm seeing them today.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes they come in and it's just like, man, the sky is falling.
Yeah, of course.
Right. They go terminal. And it's, to me, from just my education, I know, okay, well, it's a lateral ankle sprain. We're going to be okay. We're going to 2 to 3 weeks. But for them, it's, I've never been hurt before. I'm 18. I'm 10 hours away from home. I haven't been playing. I'm dealing with all this stress. I can't walk to class. My ankle is swollen. I can't feel my toes. And it's just, it's doomsday.
Snowballing.
It's snowballing, right?
Sure.
And if you can think how that can raise your blood pressure, it raises your cortisol, it raises your anxiety and your heart rate, your respiration rate, and now you start to have all this stress.
Yeah.
Well, that stress is not good for the healing process because your body can't relax, right? So now you're staying up at night, and how we heal our tissue is when we sleep, and how we hydrate, and how we take care of our health, from a holistic standpoint. So now we're delaying that healing process, and they're so, right? I can go on and on about it, but it's just, it all starts with your mental state and how you're perceiving your situation. And if you're not if you're the individual that is on the front lines and can see that, you have to address that, right? So a lot of times it's me just taking them that first day, be like, let's get on the bike and let's just talk about what's going on.
Yeah.
And just sort of give them some objective, measurables, like, yep, you have an ankle sprain. I've seen it a million times. Here's what we're going to do. If this doesn't work, we're going to go this route. If that route doesn't work, more than likely this is going to get it fixed. If I don't have the answers, I have the phone number of somebody who does, right? So it's sort of just giving them the confidence of, okay, I'm in good hands. Yeah. And that typically helps with that internal battle that they're going through.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm so glad you're there, man. Yeah, just talking to you makes me so hopeful for the program.
You're too sweet.
I have absolutely nothing to do with the program, but I'm glad you're there.
No, I appreciate it, man. But you know what? That's super nice of you to say, but it's what I'm telling you guys today is a culmination of all my mentors that I've had, and a lot of them have come from Carthage.
Yeah.
Right?
That's awesome.
And it's just me trying to do my due diligence and do the best I can. And I'm just trying to take care of other people how I would want my son to be taken care of.
Exactly.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And but I'm not the only one that's doing great things over
That's
there.
awesome.
Which is why it's so exciting to be there right now.
Awesome.
It makes me think of I'm a big fan of King of the Hill.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, absolutely.
there's an episode where Hank's old football coach, comes in to coach the kids.
Yeah.
And Hank has this one memory of everything, and then the coach comes in and is like driving his car to chase the kids down and make them run.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, we don't do that. We don't do that anymore.
No.
And it's fun to see
Rocky
too.
style.
Yeah,
right.
like this like tough love, like
Yeah.
walk it off kind of mentality. And then hearing you talk about how it's like, no, let's talk about this, like creating a safe space, because a lot of men don't have that space at all in their lives.
Yeah.
They don't talk to people.
Right.
They bottle it up, push it into their tummy.
Right.
And
a lot of that too is attributed to ego.
Sure.
We talked about, right? And the stigma of, oh, if you're a man, you gotta swallow it. And you know, don't get me wrong, I'm tough on them.
Yeah.
You know, I'm no doubt. If there's anybody that's tough in that building, I'm one of them. But it's like you said, tough love, and I just say it in reverse. It's love tough, and we make sure that whenever we are tough on them, they feel like it's coming from a place of love, because it genuinely has to.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Right?
of course.
And it's like, hey, yeah, I'm getting on you right now in front of the team because this is the second time you're late, but you got to understand why I'm getting on you.
Yeah, for
right.
sure.
And I mean, I've made mistakes. There's times where I'm like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have called that individual out like that, you know, day one in front of the team.
Yeah, of course.
You know, but then I've recognized it most of the time, I think, and gone up to them and said, hey, I probably shouldn't have done that, but you need to understand.
Yeah.
Here are the optics of it.
For sure.
Here's why I did it, and here's how we can move forward with it. Right. So trying to always.
But that's
patch it up.
important to building a relationship too, where you're
100%.
able to say,
I'm sorry.
I messed up.
Yeah.
Right.
I messed up.
100%.
Because there's so many people that don't know how to do that. I that took me a while to learn too. If I messed up, I'm gonna try to either sweep it under the rug or hide it. And in reality, no, you just own up to it, and you can build a better relationship off that trust.
Yeah. I mean, pride is death, in my opinion. You know, it's you can utilize it. It's like your ego. You can utilize it you know, for a lot of instances.
Yeah.
But you got to know when to just swallow it.
Yeah,
and
man.
just say, hey, I shouldn't have done that. Here's how we need to move forward. Here's how we need to be better. And you know, surprisingly enough, there's some athletes that I've had where I thought, this kid is going to get me fired. I'm going to throw them through a wall. I'm going to throw a dumbbell at their head. Like we clashed.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Those are some of the kids I still have the best relationships with
of course.
now,
Yeah.
you know, but it's a two-way street.
Yeah.
But you have to both be willing to come to the table and say, hey, I messed this up. How can we move forward from it?
Yeah.
Right. And you know, again, it's when they see, hey, Coach Dex is consistent with his message. He's consistent with his demeanor. He's consistent with his coaching. He's consistent with his message. You know, it definitely makes an impact on them, and it helps, you know, get the ship to the right port, so to speak.
And I'm sure too, it's even the kids who aren't the subject of your scrutiny, and seeing you go back and be like, hey, that makes a big difference too for them too, even if they don't necessarily need that service.
Right. Yeah.
And then, I mean, especially it's hard when you are like, you're a dad and you're basically a dad to all these kids. And so you're constantly on stage.
Sure.
And you're constantly trying to like make good choices. And after a while, those good choices become second nature to you anyway.
Sure.
But kudos to you, because even here, I'm like,
yeah.
there's days. Like,
There's days.
I'm going to go home now. Goodbye.
Yeah. But you know what? I mean, that's human nature, right? And again, it goes back to our culture pillars. It's just perfect effort. I'm not asking anybody to be perfect, but I'm asking your effort to be perfect.
Yeah.
Right? Whatever your 100% that is that day, just give me that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Give me that. Leave here, come back tomorrow, and let's just be just a little bit better.
Sure.
Right? I mean, there's times where I've made mistakes. Don't get me wrong. There's times when, you know, especially like last year during the fall, it's a lot. Like I got men's lacrosse. I'm working with them 3 days a week, volleyball 2 days a week. They're in season now. Men's basketball, you know, multiple times a week. You know, on top of managing a staff and doing rehabs. Like there's a lot of things. Yeah. The last thing I want to do is walk into a weight room on some days and stand up there and say, you know, how do I get my message across today about integrity when I want to get to hell home and just go to bed, right? And that's tough.
Yeah.
But for me, again, I have that North Star, and
Sure.
I know, like, hey, whatever we got to do, let's fake it till we make it, and
Push through
and
the suck.
Let's push through the suck, and
Yeah.
that's that mental toughness piece,
Sure.
right? So for me, it's like I can find, I can find justification in action and guidance.
It's great.
Through those culture pillars, right? Which helps out so much.
Have you seen the show Ted Lasso?
I love it.
Okay, good.
I haven't finished it, but I've seen a couple seasons. Yeah, I love it.
You're talking. I'm like, okay, that's your Jamie Tart. That's your. Yeah. Just kind of
Yes.
going through it.
Yes.
No, man. We're quickly running out of time. We've had so much to
right
talk
on.
about, but we're like right in it. We do want to get into a little bit of health is wealth and just kind of
do it.
talk to some of our listeners, and maybe they're thinking, okay, well, I'm not playing college football. I'm not
Right.
playing college volleyball. I'm 58, like
Yeah.
how am I making these little things? But we did talk about it a little bit,
Yeah.
where you're just doing little small choices
Yeah.
throughout
little
the day.
doses, little micro doses,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And that's going to produce a greater effort in
Right.
the end, right?
Right.
I was going to ask, how is that looking now? How old is your son?
He's 20 months, so almost 2.
Okay. So so you're not in the teenage phase or any of
No.
that stuff yet.
No.
But I think this is a good starter for you, man. I think
Yeah.
you dealing with all these kiddos, it's gonna trickle into your dad life, and you're gonna
No
see
doubt.
it. I think you're gonna see it a little bit more in a different light
Yeah.
when you start seeing him grow into those older ages. And it's a good platform, man. I'm
Yeah.
glad he's got you. I'm glad, dude. It's so beautiful.
He's gonna come. Well,
appreciate it.
we were talking before about the ducklings coming in, and
Yeah.
you're gonna bring yours in, and
Oh, yeah.
it's gonna be fun. And he's
Yeah.
gonna be able to watch you
Yeah.
talk to these kids and already have that like from the beginning.
Right. Yeah. I hope he listens, you know, and there's things he's not going to
He
listen
won't
to.
always.
He won't
Yeah.
always, right?
But-
I'm crazy to think otherwise.
But it's good, man.
Yeah.
My son told me the other day, we were in line somewhere. I have a 13-year-old. I have an 11-year-old. My 13-year-old, classic first child, right?
Yeah.
He still wants to kind of be babied, but he's getting older. He can kind of know his place on
Sure.
the totem pole. My second born, he's my middle son.
Yeah.
And so classic middle child,
Yeah.
right? Woe is me all the time. And,
Right.
but he's just like me. So we butt heads, but we're also the best of
Yeah.
friends. And anyway, my oldest son the other day, he was like, "Dad, you ever notice you're hard on everybody?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because I baby my kids, right? Like I
Yeah.
get that, but I'm also
Sure.
pretty tough on them.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, like." I think we had cousins over, and there were a bunch of cousins and a bunch of kids everywhere, and he's like, "Yeah, the same way you treat us, same way you treat everybody's kids." And I'm like,
great.
Yeah, man, because we're not raising little juveniles over here. What are you called? A delinquent? A delinquent.
There you go.
Oh
Yeah, but not the
no,
other word.
no,
Not the
no,
other word.
no, not the other word.
And we're not raising little delinquents,
Yeah.
but I think that's going to trickle into your dad life. I'm really excited for you to jump into that,
I
dude.
think it's going to be unique.
Yeah.
You know, me and my wife will talk, and I think about that often.
Sure.
Too, right? Like, there's times where I'm coaching. I'm like, man, what if I'm coaching my son doing this? Like,
Sure.
is he gonna listen? Right?
Yeah.
Would he respect the message that's
Yeah, of
coming
course.
from me? And my wife, she's had times where she's like, well, would you yell at Liam if he did? I said, 100%.
1,000.
Yeah, absolutely. I would handle it the exact same way. She's like, well, that's a little excessive. I was like, but I'm consistent. I'm consistent.
Nothing is
Like,
not consistent.
If he doesn't get anything from that, he'll say, Dad, you were always consistent.
Yeah.
And I was like,
for
that's the best.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're gonna grow, man. You're gonna
Yeah.
you're gonna make mistakes.
Right.
Fatherhood's gonna look interestingly different for
Yeah.
the entirety of it, right? I see that a lot with the kiddos here. I get asked all the time, "How do you guys deal with the crying kids? How do you
Yeah.
do this?" And honestly, in a weird way, two things. If I'm not in the mood to deal with it that
Yeah.
day, it's just like they're your kid, man. They're going home with you.
Right.
But for the most part, like 90% of the time, it's this is someone's baby. you know?
Right.
Like, dude,
Right.
It is what it is. We're going to take care of this baby regardless.
Yeah.
Even if the parents are driving us nuts.
Yeah.
Like, this is somebody's baby. That's going to be how we look at it.
Right.
And I'm glad, man. I'm glad. That's gonna be beautiful. That's
Yeah.
gonna be really nice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about health is wealth. Just a couple of nuggets, man. One thing that I did want to ask about, like, how do you see the younger generation coming in to see you? Like, I guess they're probably not totally iPad kids yet. But are you seeing any of that where I would much rather play video games and
not so much that as much as I see early specialization.
Okay.
So what I mean is, these kids, baseball is notorious for it. You see these kids playing baseball at, Little League, very young. T-ball, right? And then all of a sudden they're 5, 6, 7 years old and their parents got them in, they're playing Little League. Now they're also playing Travel League. They're playing, these tournaments, and it's a year-round thing. It's like they're just going to specialize in baseball because baseball is their sport. Baseball is going to get them paid one day. They're going to make it to the pros. And those are 90% of the time when they get to college, not your best athletes.
Wow.
It's the kids that played multiple sports.
Wow.
Right? So early specialization shouldn't really happen until you're about 17 years old. So what is that? That's a junior, sometimes a senior in high school.
Yeah.
Right?
I graduated at 17.
Yeah,
so
there you go. Yeah. Right? So I graduated 18, so I was a little bit, I don't know. My mom held me for another year.
That's why you're so evolved.
I was
exactly.
18.
Were you?
Yeah.
When did you start, preschool? I started at 6. I think most kids start at 5.
I was
right?
born in January of 1987.
It kind of depends on your
on your year.
Got it.
Yeah.
I definitely should have been in school. I know that. And my mom's like, no.
Okay.
Oh, no, my parents wanted me out of the house as fast as possible. They're like, you're bothering me.
Yeah, get out. But, it's not so much the iPad kids as much as it is the kids that think, okay, if I have this sport, I'm working with this private coach. Parents pay a lot of money for youth sports and travel sports.
We see it.
Baseball, hockey, tennis, golf, like those ones are big, right?
And the schedule
is insane.
It is.
Now when you talk about and how I can bring this all together, if you look at like from an injury risk standpoint, when a kid, like for example, let's use baseball. If a kid is a pitcher and he's throwing, a lot of these quote unquote coaches don't really understand how much these kids should be throwing on a weekly basis.
Okay.
What's too much throwing, how to recover from that throwing, and what sort of strength exercise they should be doing to make sure that their tissues can actually handle that sort of volume and intensity of throwing. So by the time they get to college, they're 18. I've had kids say, yeah, I've already had Tommy John surgery.
I was going to say, what's the
it's like
Tommy
a torn
John's?
labrum.
Yep.
And I'm like, you're 18 years old. It's like, oh yeah, well, I've been pitching and playing baseball since I was 12, nonstop year round. And, baseball, if you think about it, it's just like any other sport. It's very specific, right? Like if you're a pitcher, you're throwing from A to B. Here's your throwing mechanics. That's what you're doing. Yeah. You're not having to really react to balls and things like that.
Sure.
I mean, you are a little bit, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's very different than like a field sport such as, let's say soccer.
Sure.
Or very different from gymnastics or wrestling. So they're missing out on so many motor program developmental, things that, drive your athleticism and your ability to do things better when you do get to the sport you decide to specialize in, right? So, I think that's a big issue.
Yeah.
And also too, on top of that is kids don't know how to move their body in general. And now we have to add load to them from a weight room standpoint. Sure. And now I'm teaching a kid, hey, I need you to go touch your toes. And they can barely get their fingers past their knees. And it's like, oh man, like, we're not going to be able to squat you if we don't have any mobility in our hamstrings, right?
Of course.
So, it's like, well, I've been lifting with this personal trainer. I've been doing powerlifting. I've been doing this. And it's like, well,
there's no mobility.
There's no mobility there,
of course.
Right? So again, it's just, it's just ignorance, right? Like they just don't know what they don't know. And I think that's why there's such a high premium now on the youth development and the quality of coaches that we have at the younger levels, especially in sports, to encourage these kids, hey, here's how you need to move. Here's how we need to do a dynamic warm up. Here's how we need to cool down. Here's what we need to frickin' eat, right? Here's how we need to sleep, because being an athlete is a 365, 24/7 deal.
Yeah, of course.
Right? You can't, especially if you want to compete at a high level, college, pro, whatever the case may be, or from a longevity standpoint.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So there's so many different things that I think are needed, and we're just prioritizing wins, losses, and what tournaments are my kids playing in. And to me, it's like, that's not important. Right. But these parents don't know any better, because you have a lot of the good salesmen, saying your son needs to play travel sports, needs to play for our team if they want to get scouted. And it's like, that's a bunch of BS. Right. It's a bunch of BS. Now, not to say that you can't go work with a private hitting coach or a pitching coach or a shooting coach, whatever the case may be, but you better get your kid in multiple sports, challenge them on multiple different, platforms. If you want them to be good at the sport they decide to choose later down in life.
There used to be a time where we were all in the streets doing whatever we wanted, and we were, they call it potting. You bop between different groups, and you're doing different things.
Yes.
And now, I used to work in a very affluent area that, the first phase was soccer. And then, every single kid did soccer. And then they moved on to the main sport that they're probably going to do for the rest of them: dancing, football, baseball, whatever it was. And that's all they did. And this travel, they're, like you said, all of the other stuff that was added on top of it. And they are not getting home until 10 o'clock at night. They're eating, for the most part, fast food, just because that's what's available at that time of night. And it was just nuts to hear, when the lockdown happened, when quarantine happened, so many of those kids actually got to live a real life again. And they're one of my kids would tell me how he did on his bike, and he would meet up with his friends and they would go golfing. And he's a baseball player. And then some of the moms were like, I'm so happy I'm not in the car 24/7 anymore. Because they were literally they have 3 to 4 kids, and they're driving their kids everywhere, and they have no, I'm sure they have family life, they have a home life, but there's all this stuff going on, and they're all hyper focused on this one thing, and quite frankly, not all of them are going to be Olympic athletes or
more than
one of the top 1% are going to get paid to do their sport. Right. And it's there's this coach on Instagram. I'm going to mess it up. I think it's Jeremy or Jeff Fisk. He is the guy right now for youth athletic development and what he does. He creates obstacle courses in his facility, and it's just it's play. I'm gonna give you a challenge. Go jump over this. Go flip over that. Just play. And it's for those kids. It's okay. I have a challenge. I need to figure out how to navigate this obstacle, this challenge, and be successful. And now I'm also competing against the person. But now I'm also having fun doing it. Let's be honest. When these kids specialize so early, it doesn't become, after a while, it's not fun.
No, it's not.
Oh, I got to go to hitting. I got to go do this. I got to do that. So again, it's what's the point here, people? Right? The point is for these kids to have fun. If they enjoy what they're doing, they're going to give more effort, and they're going to get more out of it, and they're going to want to do that thing more. So eventually let nature take over, and they'll just be infected with the love of whatever sport it is that they're drawn to, and then they'll get good at it.
Well, we're not even touching on the parent living vicariously through their kid, right?
Man,
where
how much time we got?
No, we don't have that time.
Doing 4-year-old soccer and getting into a fist fight with another parent.
I love it. I can't wait. My wife goes, "Are you gonna coach youth sports?" I said, "Nope." She goes, "Why not? You would love it." And everybody that's in my circle would be like, "Oh, you're totally gonna." I said, "Absolutely not." That's your coach. I'm your dad. You go listen to your coach. If I disagree, I'm going to bite my tongue and I'll go tell the coach, "Hey, coach, I think maybe you should do this." I'm not going to say, pin my kid against the coach, and now he's learning, hey, dad's voice is more important than my coach.
Sure.
And then when they get to college, I'm dealing with your kid,
Then
right?
yeah.
Because we'll have dads come off to the sideline during games,
Yeah.
and I'm coming off the field, and our sport coach is giving this kid hey, you need to do X, Y, and Z, and then the kid goes to the dad, and the dad's saying, you need to do this, and it's like, at the end, like, what are we doing?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So again, those helicopter parents, those man, I hope I'm never one of them, but it's a challenge.
Well,
it's a challenge.
You sound like if someone said like, let him do it on his own.
Yeah.
You would let him do it.
Absolutely.
Like I remember we had a conversation at my old job. We had similar cars, but on the side there was a spot for your foot to go in so that you can climb in.
Sure.
I can't tell you how many kids didn't know how to climb into a car.
Really?
They didn't know how to climb.
Well, my son, he's climbing on the freaking walls. And I don't know how he gets up. I'm like, dude, how'd you get on that fan, dude? He's spinning around. I'm like, man.
No.
Yeah. It's
And
it's just
we see
learn.
it all the time too with kids where it's like, especially if it's their only child. And
sure.
before the kid even says anything about being upset or being dirty or being anything, that parent swoops in and makes everything perfect.
Yeah. And I get that. I do understand that, and I'm not the gold standard of parent by any means, right? But what do I know? I've been in it for 18 months, or 19, 20 months, whatever it is. Like I don't know, but I'm very observant, and I've learned things, and I've taken things that I like, and I've looked at things that I didn't like, and it's like, well, I think I would do it this way,
Sure,
right? And I mean that's what life is. It's stealing what you like, and after a year, I heard this a long time ago. If you steal it, after a year, it becomes your own thought, and I was like, oh, okay, that sounds good. So
I love that.
Again, it's just taking what makes sense and trying your best to apply those things. And just kids like to be challenged. If you're struggling, I'm like, dude, it's all right. Stop crying.
Yeah.
Take a breath. Try that again. I'll show you. Let me show you right here.
Yeah.
Now you do it.
Yes.
Right. So again, it's just, it takes a lot of patience, but I think my coaching background bleeds into my parenting background.
Yes.
Right. Because at the end of the day, coaching is teaching. Teaching is motivating people to learn.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, hey, let me try and get you to want to go throw your popsicle stick away.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's incredible. But
that's awesome though. That's basically what we wanted to kind of touch on with having you in, and just kind of seeing how body movement kind of really, really dictates the way your life goes.
Yeah. And not to cut you off.
No, go for it.
I think the motion is lotion, right? Like movement is the best thing you can do. However you can get it done, right? But what it truly comes down to is, what are you putting in your bodies to help fuel that motion?
Sure, of course.
Because again, at the end of the day, like I've seen a ton of people that, like, I go to the gym 7 days a week.
Yeah.
I love running. I love lifting. I'm the most disciplined person in the gym. It's so much fun for me. But, maybe it's they're 30 or 35% body fat, and, they're eating McDonald's, they're smoking cigarettes, it's this, that, or the other. And everybody has their vices. I get that.
Sure.
But you then don't get the right to say, I'm not making any progress.
Oh, sure.
This is pointless.
Yeah.
Right. And for me, I can't tell you how many times personally I've been stuck in that vicious cycle of, I'm going to work out like a madman. I'm going to diet really, really hard. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to do everything right.
Sure.
And then something gets thrown in the mix where I'm not putting the trinity together, so to speak. And it's like, oh, fuck.
It falls off.
It falls off.
Yeah, of course.
Right. So it's so cliche, and it's so, goofy to say, but it has to be, how you live it.
Yeah, of course.
It can't be a diet. It's got to be a lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
And it's hard.
Do you follow, he's like a health influencer guy, Higher Up Wellness. He's like a younger blonde dude who's always talking into the camera. Anyway, he's got some great ways of looking at it. He really, I follow a lot of his things because even for me,
just speaking personally, and we're all kind of in the shop. We're all kind of on this health journey right now, trying to like do better. And
I know the worst part is like right now listening to you is very motivating. And then I'm gonna go home and like.
I'll tell you what. I'll come in once a week and we'll do it. We'll do it right here in the shop. We'll do a boot camp.
Say less. Say less. No, we're not going to steal. Listen, you told me your schedule. We're not stealing you from the children.
Yeah. We're not stealing you from the children.
No, we're not going to steal you from your family, man. You got enough.
No, they'll be here.
Okay, good.
They'll come.
It'll be a family event.
It'll be squat, snip.
Yeah, squat and snip, sure. Right. Between each spray, you got to do a push-up or a burpee, right?
Yeah. So we're all kind of in this, trying to, we're all kind of getting into that 30 hump, right? Some of us are in our 40s. We have.
I was gonna say we're about to hit the 40th hump.
We're about to hit the 40 hump.
Love it.
One of our girls, ladies, women. She's in her 60s now. I mean, so we have kind of a full gamut, and it's kind of nice because we get to hear the younger ones, the 20-somethings, and what they're dealing with, and wanting to be skinny. And now I'm over here like, dude, if I eat that, I'm gonna hurt tomorrow. Like, not even move. Like, it's just. And then
I'm gonna have heartburn.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sleep all night.
I gotta take some Tums before we have that, man. Yeah.
But anyway, as someone who's constantly dealt with their weight pretty much their entire life, highs and lows and ups and downs. I also think there has to be a sense of grace in there for yourself, where like,
you said it.
Where it's like, okay, sure, the one step at a time. Maybe this step I tripped up a little bit.
Right.
I did hear somebody else say, it's not about what you sometimes do. It's about what you always do. So you're
consistently good over occasionally great.
Yeah, exactly. So, I kind of fell into that because I was kind of getting on a good kick of gym or running every day. And then we took a little family vacation. And when I came back, I was just feeling like, all right, because I gave myself that motivation of like, I want to be in a certain shape for this beach vacation or this wedding. And then inevitably you fall off after that. But then you think about, at least I'm trying to think of it in that way. It's not about what you sometimes do. It's about what you always do. Sure, you fell off for a week or so. You got a nice little break, right? But you just get back into it. You just kind of, and you have to have the grace of, for yourself, of, okay, a day at a time. I write that in our group text all the time. Day at a time, man. Like, let's roll with it.
I mean, the word you use that I think you hit the nail on that is grace.
Yeah, for sure.
Give yourself some grace, right? Like, you think I don't fall off? Oh my gosh.
Sure.
Yeah. But my falling off might be different than somebody else's falling
off. Yeah, of course.
Right? So we're all on a different journey, right? We all have different goals that we're trying to get to. And again, it's if you do show yourself that grace and you don't measure yourself based on what the hell you see on social media.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I open up social media and I think I'm in good shape. I think, I do my best to take care of myself, but I'll see some people, I'm like, man, I don't look like that. And they're 10 years younger than me. I'm like, what the heck? Right.
Yeah.
But again, the thief of joy is comparison.
It's comparison.
And when you're setting these, these unrealistic expectations for yourself. So, if somebody's 350 pounds and they just want to be 330 and they're looking at somebody that's,
180,
20 that doesn't have a full-time job living at home. It's like, you guys need to be disciplined, rip abs, and my mom pays for my cell phone. It's like, all right, slow down, right? So again, you have to scale your reality to something that is obtainable.
Yeah.
And when you have goals that are obtainable, it's easy for you to get back on that path.
Yeah.
Right. So again, I think you're 100% right. Show yourself some grace. Just make one good decision today that you didn't make the day before. And eventually over, a month, you have 30 good decisions stacked up.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So, and that's how you build that momentum. So start slow, start realistic, right?
Yeah.
Aim your sights low enough. People say aim really high, aim low so you can just hit it.
Sure.
Hit it. Yeah. Then aim just a touch
higher. And then you
higher.
hit that.
Yeah,
and then you,
exactly.
For sure.
When you're saying, hey, I'm 350 pounds, I need to lose 200 pounds. Well, guess what? You ain't losing it in a month.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Just lose 1 pound this week.
Yeah.
Lose 2 pounds next week. You know, like there's no shortcut around it, right? And the longevity organ is muscle.
Yeah, of
you
course.
need it.
Sure.
I don't care who, and you know, I see this stigma all the time, and it's still very relevant. And it's kind of surprising to me, you know, given all the, you know, knowledge that we have at our fingertips. But, you know, especially in women, like, I don't want to lift heavy. I don't want to get bulky. I'm like,
we hear that a lot.
That's not it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
that's not how it works.
Yeah.
Now, are there some women that lift really heavy and they eat like crazy and they're trying to get bulky?
Yeah.
Sure, it can happen.
I saw a whole documentary about it.
Yeah, it can happen. Yeah. Is that normal? No, absolutely not.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
For a majority of the population, resistance training, I mean, it's so pinnacle to your long-term health.
Yeah.
But also to, like, you know, to go back to it, is that nutrition and what you're putting in is going to determine your output. Your input determines your output. Right? What you're putting in is going to determine how you're looking.
Yeah.
You know, your micronutrients is how you feel. Your macronutrients is how you look. All right. And so, you know, what I tell anybody that comes to me and asks me for nutrition advice, and by no means am I a nutritionist, but some of the absolute best advice I have ever gotten, it keeps it so simple and it's easy to remember. If it comes from the ground and it has a mother, you can eat it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And I heard that and I thought about it. I was just like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
Right. And everything else you want to limit and stay away from it.
Sure.
Put in your body. You know, sugar is honestly the worst thing I think anybody can possibly eat.
Sure.
Don't get me wrong. I love sweets.
No,
you know, it's tough. It's so addictive, right? But sugar is an inflammatory substance. So if you have achy knees or whatever the case, arthritis, and your diet, you have a lot of carbohydrates and sugars, it's just going to spike that response.
Sure.
Right. So again, it's just that vicious loop.
Sure.
You know,
for sure.
It's so tough.
But going back to how we started, it's what you're saving up for, right?
Exactly, right.
Like getting into your 60s.
Yeah.
We'll have to have you back so we can actually talk into longevity and some sort of physical routines and programs that we can talk about. But I think that would be perfect, man. I'm not going to take up more of your time, man. You gave us so much.
I know. I just go on rants. So
no, I love it.
That's
dude.
what we do here.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's why we started this.
I fit in.
Yeah, for sure. This is gonna be a part one, man. We'll have you back.
Perfect.
We'll have you
I
back real
appreciate
soon.
you guys. Yeah, man.
Let's go.
Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Yall Be Good. And as always, a reminder that we are a project of Little Lion Cuts. We hope you've enjoyed these stories just as much as we have enjoyed sharing them. Every family has a story, and we're just grateful that we get to hear yours too. If you've enjoyed today's episode and you think someone else might need to hear it, don't forget to share this podcast with them. And hey, while you're at it, be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. That really does go a long way. You definitely don't want to miss out on any of the real, raw, and inspiring conversations we've got lined up. And we'd love to hear your stories too. So go ahead and find us on Instagram at Yall Be Good Pod, or drop us a message with your thoughts. And until next time, y'all be good.